In the project Flagships for CO2 savings in the industry, we accompany or we support 13 exemplary projects that reduce emissions. And we have a particular focus here on 4 energy-intensive sectors, which is the chemical industry, the glass industry, foundry industry, as well as the plastics industry. In this project, we are supporting companies in the planning of the measures they want to take to reduce their emissions, as well as in their application for government funding and in their implementation of the measures, as well as the commissioning of the measures.
Westerkamp has a long tradition, and we have been on this site for more than 100 years. We were very happy to participate in the CO2 project of the dena as a dena flagship project. As we have many sustainable products, and also our raw material is coming from sustainable sources, and they are mostly from sustainable forestry and PEFC certified.
Reducing CO2 emissions is an enormous challenge for companies, and especially industrial companies will have to fundamentally change their energy procurement, their energy use, as well as their production processes as a whole.
It was the part of the dena project to optimize the processes of the drying, wood chips drying, and therefore we decided to invest in 2 different projects, like to renew the wood chips heating by a more efficient one. And the second step was to invest into a new band dryer with a heat plate exchanger to save energy from the steam which is coming out of the drying process. And then we can use this to pre-warm the air. And in the end, we have the energy saving from this process, and we need 35% less of wood chips for the heating. And therefore, we have in total an energy saving of 4,000 tons CO2 per year. So the first project was to exchange the heating. So we have been using 2 old wood chips heating. They were about 10–15 years old, and they were not efficient enough. And there were some new governmental regulations which we had to react to, like for the emissions. Therefore, we had a look about different kinds of biomass heatings. And we found out that it is possible if you invest in a new biomass heating that you get subsidies from the state. They were quite interesting, so the investment was about 1.2 million. And for biomass heating, you get more than 50% as subsidies.
Studies show that investments in improving energy efficiency as well as in integrating renewable energies are safe and effective and can therefore be seen as basically no-regret measures.
This new heating is not much bigger than the 2 old ones. It's fed with wood chips, which we get from our suppliers that also supply the raw material. We have more efficiency, and also we can produce more heat with less energy. The second project we implanted was the new band dryer in order to get more capacity, and on the other side we wanted to save more energy. So we asked the builder of band dryers, the company Stella, if they have a solution, and they had a prototype, but this was only on paper and it was never built. So it was quite a challenge for every one of us. So with the second project, we saved 393 tons of CO2 per year, and this is quite a large amount. And I would like to encourage all companies to also invest in similar technologies for their companies, as I think there are many drying processes all over different sectors of industries. So in fact, we have increased our capacities. We only need to run the bench dryer 3 or 4 times a week instead of 7 days a week. So this saves not only energy but also staff capacities, workers, hours, labor. The 95% of the energy you are putting into a compressor is exchanged into heat, and only 5% can be used as air pressure. So we invested in heat plate exchangers for the heat of the compressors also, and with this project we saved 9.7 tons of GHG emissions, and we have a return of investment of 4.2 years, which is a little bit higher than for the other 2 projects, but I think it's very effective, as nearly every company has compressors in its company, and it's the low-hanging fruits which you are able to catch. 'We had decided to invest in these 2 or 3 big projects, and it took us about 3 years of planning and putting it into operation. We had to hit some challenges and solve some technical problems with authorities. But overall, I think we reached our target. So we have saved a lot of energy emissions, more than 4,000 tons per year with these 3 projects. We will use biomass and avoid fossil sources. I think all industries in Europe have to look for interesting projects to also to comply with the Green Deal, and CO2 emissions will be very expensive, so it will be very costly not to invest, and they should have a look at the national programs, EU programs or programs of the BAFA. You can get subsidies, or you can also get credits with a very low interest rate.
Accompanying these companies, of course, we learn a lot of things. We identify success factors, we identify hurdles, and we try to support the companies in finding good solutions for their measures. We are also compiling these experiences we make in project profiles, in guidelines, in working aids, and we present those as well in sector-specific events. And here we collaborate with sector-specific associations, and this really helps us to ensure a knowledge transfer from the companies we are accompanying in this flagship project to other companies in the sector.
This is very important that you look at it now to comply with the Green Deal from the EU. And the EU is doing a lot to support you financially with this project, so please have a look. And you will see it's very easy to save energy, CO2 emissions, and to be economical. It's easy to combine these 3 targets, and they're not contradictory. So let's start now.